You are made of approximately 37 trillion cells. Skin cells, nerve cells, muscle cells, bone cells, heart cells, eye cells. Each one completely different. Different shapes, different sizes, different lifespans, different jobs. And every single one of them came from the same starting point. One cell, smaller than a grain of sand. And inside that cell, everything needed to build a complete human being was already written. Let's start with what's inside that first cell, because the information density is almost incomprehensible. Your DNA contains approximately 3.2 billion base pairs, the letters of the genetic code. If you read one letter of your DNA every second, without stopping, without sleeping, it would take you 100 years to finish. But here's the extraordinary part. That entire sequence fits inside a nucleus so small it takes an electron microscope to see. The storage density of DNA is approximately 215 petabytes per gram, about 1,000,000 times denser than the best human-made storage devices. This is not a storage accident. This is the most sophisticated information system ever documented. Now the cell begins to divide. 1 becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8. The doubling continues. At this stage, every cell is identical. They all contain the same DNA. They all look the same. They all have the same potential. And then, at a precisely programmed moment, the cells begin to receive different instructions. The cells don't change their DNA. They change which parts of the DNA they read. This process is called epigenetics, the control system that sits on top of the DNA and decides which genes are active and which are silent. Think of the DNA as a master score. Every instrument's part is written in it. Epigenetics is the conductor, deciding which instruments play in each moment. A liver cell and a brain cell contain identical DNA, but the liver cell has silenced about 95% of the genome and is reading only the liver-relevant chapters. This means your heart is reading a different chapter of your DNA than your stomach, which is reading a different chapter than your eye. And these reading instructions were pre-programmed, set before the cell even knew what organ it would become part of. Now let's follow one cell through its journey from the original single cell to its final identity. At the very beginning, the cell is totipotent. It can become any cell in the entire body, including the placenta. After a few divisions, the cells commit to being either body cells or placenta cells, the first irreversible decision. The body cells then divide into 3 fundamental layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, each layer destined for specific organs. Each layer then subdivides further into more and more specific cell types until every cell has a final, precise identity. And every single branch of this journey was written into the original cell's DNA before the journey began. But here's what makes this genuinely staggering. This differentiation process involves trillions of cells, all making coordinated decisions, all on the same timeline. Your liver cells knew to become liver cells at week 5 of development. Your retinal cells knew to begin forming at week 4. Nobody sent them a memo, nobody set a reminder, the instruction was already in them. This level of coordination, in a system with no central controller, no overseer, no real-time communication between distant cells, is without parallel in any human-designed system. In 9 months, that single cell divided approximately 47 times to produce you. Each of those 37 trillion cells received the correct identity, the correct position in the body, the correct neighbors. Not a single cell ended up where it wasn't supposed to be. Not one in 37 trillion. One cell, 3.2 billion letters of instruction, 47 divisions, 47 trillion perfectly placed cells, 200 distinct cell types, all coordinated without a visible controller, all completed in 9 months. This is not the story of something that assembled itself. Information does not write itself. Coordination on this scale does not organize itself. A plan this precise does not emerge from chance. Before you were you, before the first division, before the first chapter was read, everything needed to make you was already present, already written, already known. The next time you look at your hand, those 5 fingers, those tendons, those nails, that skin, trace it all back to one cell and ask yourself, who wrote the instructions? Only science. See you next time.